Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Drafted Pages podcast. Had a little bit of a hiatus here these past couple weeks because some big events took place. If you know, you know. More on that will come later with future episodes this year as we get further into the podcast. We'll definitely have Jocelyn on here a few times. We're supposed to have her over the last weekend, but got caught up in the birthday activities and everything going on. So, didn't get around to recording anything, but we got a lot to talk about there. So, we'll certainly get into that in future episodes. But for today, I wanted to talk about, as the title says, my 3-day water fast. There was a few reasons why I did this. This is for context. This is the first day back eating food again. So very happy, much more energy today than the previous days. But kind of wanted to talk about why I did it. The days changing, from day 1, day 2, day 3, how my body felt, kind of the results and everything, and provide some light, some education on this because I feel like it's been growing popular over the past few months or so, at least in the fitness world and things like that. So let's get into it. So why did I go through a 3-day water fast? Well, two reasons. One, right now, currently with our church here in Dallas, Watermark, we were doing a 21-day fast for the first 21 days of February. And there's lots of different fasts. And if you watch the most recent episode with me and Cam, which you should go check it out, amazing episode. He actually was doing a fast during that time, and he kind of talked about the purpose behind it and how you should approach it, right? So go check that out if you want to learn that side. But for our fast at my church for 21 days, the pastor actually encouraged us to try different fasts if we're not used to regularly doing it. I did it once back in grad school, and it was good. I did the sun up to sundown, no food fast. I forget the name of that one exactly, but it was good. I got a lot out of it, and I thought it'd be good to go through this again for 21 days. So to start, I actually fasted from video games and entertainment and things like that. Not entirely no TV, but I would definitely limit myself a lot and no video games whatsoever. And that sounds stupid, but I was finding myself playing way too much MLB The Show, trying to help the Phillies win a World Series virtually, and it was definitely occupying a lot more of my time. And I was I'm not, I would play it after work and then go to bed and then not pray, not spend time just with God, walking around outside, not prioritizing God, prioritizing the video game. So I also felt convicted at church when we were going through that first leading up to the fast and praying over what we should fast. It was I kind of feel like God's telling me to give up video games and spend more time with him that way. So that's what I did for the first chunk of it. And then these last 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the fast, I water fasted. I didn't eat at all. And it was a challenge. Definitely saw interesting results, but that's kind of how I got into it. And there's kind of two reasons. I think I said that's kind of the first reason, right? So to spend more time with God. The episode with Cam, he does a great job of explaining how, if you're fasting from food, the importance of that and how to change the way you go about your time when you're hungry or normally would be eating. But yeah, it's really just to grow closer to God in that time. And I'm kind of in a season right now of a lot of change, of a lot of big things in life happening, a lot of burdens, I guess, mental battles that I'm going through. And fasting is a great way to just give something up to get more of God. And that's kind of what I was after with it as the main purpose behind the fast. And then the second purpose, the 3-day water fast, is that this gentleman, Gary Brecka, he's pretty big in the fitness world now with his kind of new way of health. I wouldn't say it's totally new, but he's much more old school methods, helping cure chronic diseases and things like that, because Big Pharma and all of these other companies don't want us to live healthily, right? Healthily. I don't know if that's a word. Lexi, correct me if that's not a word, but he's kind of pioneered this And a lot of people have talked about it, talked about the benefits of it, talked about how it just kind of cleans out your entire body and gives it a whole reset, right? So when our body like produces new cells every single day, and I think he was saying, sometimes these cells just repair, they don't like completely break down. So you have a bunch of like repaired, like almost like toxic cells in your body, and this just flushes everything out because your body's just like on complete reset mode. It's like putting your body back in factory settings, if it was like a toy, which is like kind of interesting. But that's kind of the health side of it. There's a lot more benefits. There's like the weight loss obviously can come from it. There's diabetes help, heart problems, Alzheimer's. There's a whole study on it. If you just look up Gary Brecka 3-day water fast and study more of his work and everything, you'll get a lot more information on what he does and kind of is promoting, I guess, in the fitness and nutrition world. So let me walk you through kind of how it's set up. The weekend, I kind of ate whatever. It was my birthday. Didn't really care as much. I also knew I was going on this fast, so I ate kind of normal on Sunday. Sunday night dinner, I finished at like 6 p.m. It was like my last bit of food. And then from Monday through this morning on Thursday, I didn't eat any solid foods. Monday, the first day, you're allowed I think he said like 16.9 ounces of bone broth, but it comes in that exact measurement in the Kettle and Fire, I think, something like that, bone broth. You would know it if, like, I would know if I saw it, but it's that kind of name. It's just like really good bone broth. It's like grass-fed, completely organic, clean ingredients. Like, it's the best one out there. It's obviously the most expensive because of that, but you're allowed 2 servings of that on the first day. So I had one for lunch and then had one for dinner. And water, of course, you're supposed to drink like 3 liters or something like that a day. It's all on the sheet if you want the actual details. And so, yeah, the first day, I actually went to the gym in the morning like I normally do. So it wasn't that off. I definitely felt hungry like throughout the day, but the bone broth helped me like have something to look forward to. Also had electrolytes every single day as well as vitamins every single day, like a multivitamin, just to make sure like I wasn't completely depleting my body of like what it needs. He also says electrolytes are important and all of that to have throughout. He gives a whole setup on how to properly do it. And so the first day, 2 bone broths and water. Also, I had coffee, just black coffee. I know that's technically like 5 calories or whatever, but I had that as well, just because I needed a little pick-me-up on Monday without any food. But I would say Monday, in terms of hunger, was the hardest. Like, I was definitely the most hungry on Monday, probably from working out, probably the first day not eating. Was definitely kind of feeling that, that thing in your stomach when you haven't ate all day, you've been working all the time, and you're like, crap, I need to eat. Like, I'm hungry. Like, that was kind of just consistent throughout the whole day. And like I said, the bone broth kind of helped me get through that first day and first initial stage of hunger. And then going to sleep, and this happened all 3 nights, Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night. It was much more harder to fall asleep. I don't know if it was because of like the hunger pains or just like my body was a little bit out of it, but I definitely did not fall asleep super fast like I'm used to doing, and I woke up each time throughout the night. So yeah, that was a little bit more of a challenge. I also would like just feel itchy like in my skin and my body when I would lay down and go to bed. And before you say like, oh, like you could have bed bugs or something, like it's nothing like that, because I've laid in my bed multiple times like throughout this time, and even just laying on my back, like I'm not itchy, but when I would lay on my side to try and go to sleep, like I would get like these random like itches that like I can't not itch because they're bothering so much. And so that was weird. We'll see how tonight goes and going to sleep, and if anything changes. Don't really know what that's all about. But that's kind of how it went and worked. And I think there's a guy to drop off a package at my door, so I will be right back. All right, the first time I had to actually edit this podcast and cut some things out. Where was I? First day, bone broth, everything went well. Probably the most hunger pain. Second day, morning was actually pretty okay. I felt, hungry, obviously, but it wasn't overwhelming. and it could only have water the rest of Tuesday and Wednesday, strictly water, electrolytes. I did have 1 cup of coffee each day, but that was it. No bone broth, no food, obviously. And second day, I definitely felt like different in my body physically. I felt a little bit more drained. I did for some reason throughout this whole process have a ton of energy. Like I didn't feel very sleepy, even though I wasn't getting the best sleep. Didn't feel groggy or anything like that throughout this process. But on Tuesday, I could definitely feel in my body like something like changing and just feeling a little bit off. And Tuesday, for the most part, was kind of like that the whole day, just fighting the temptation to go eat, trying to distract myself, stay busy at work, do things after work to just take my mind off of eating. And it made it through. I would say the hardest part throughout that time was like the hours of 1 to like 4, kind of that late afternoon window of work. Sometimes it's busy for me, sometimes it's not. It was like pretty standard, but just the hunger then would really pick up both on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then I guess the difference between Tuesday and Wednesday was I felt very like, I don't want to say lightheaded because that's the wrong way to say it, but I could feel like winded more. I was doing a bunch of laundry going up and down the steps, and I was like, I'm tired, like going up and down these steps. Like, I feel like I can't breathe as well. So that was like the biggest difference. And again, like the hunger, pain, like you just kind of like feel that consistently throughout your stomach throughout this whole time. At least I did. And I don't want to say it was like painful. That was the wrong word to use. It's just a sensation of in your stomach, like it knows you haven't ate and you want food. If you've ever had that before, that's kind of how it was. And it was just a little bit mild on Tuesday and Wednesday compared to Monday, where it was like pretty loud. Um, and so, yeah, Wednesday, a little bit more winded. Headaches, I didn't really get any headaches throughout this time. I would say, you know, headspace wise, I felt a little bit off. I felt a little mild headaches every once in a while. I'm still kind of like feeling it a little bit. And the biggest thing on Wednesday, too, was into today, eating food again, is that I kind of feel like body achy. When you have a fever and you have all those body aches and you just feel sore and like tired and like not strong. It's kind of how I feel. I think it could be the fact that like all of like the toxins and everything are just kind of still floating around my system a little bit, and I just need to continue to flush them out with more water. It's kind of like when you get a massage. If you ever had a deep tissue massage and you don't drink enough water that next day, you feel kind of like off, and just flush it out of your system. So that's physically how it all went. Honestly, like not too terrible, like physically wise, like didn't go through too much. It's really just like if you can mentally battle the hunger pains and, feelings and sensations and wanting to eat, that's the hardest part physically about it. And then again, like the sleep, like I didn't sleep well. That kind of sucked. But aside from that, like spiritually, getting closer with God, to be honest, then we had a celebration last night at our church to like celebrate the 21 days of fast. And to be honest, like I don't feel that I got exactly what I was looking for in terms of answers over these past 3 days with this fast with God. But in some ways, like a lot of things did come to the surface. And I do feel a little bit closer with God. It did have like a moment that first night on Monday, just playing worship music and praying and got a little emotional and just felt like I was closer with God in that moment. So he works in great ways and, is answering prayers even when it's not obvious. So I trust in that and believe in that. We'll always continue to support that. And it's in his timing too. So maybe it's just not yet the answers I'm looking for with some of that stuff. But all in all, I would say the water fast was certainly a challenge. Would I do it again? Probably not anytime soon. And the reason for that was just because I love food. If you know me, you know how much I love food. I love eating. I eat pretty clean. Like I care about fitness and health and everything like that. But like one of my favorite times of every single day is to sit down and eat a meal. And not having that sucked. and it made me appreciate it so much more today when I could finally eat food again. Was very thankful of just that time spent with God and the ability to cook food and eat food and whatever I want. Like just go to the grocery store and get that. Like that's a blessing in itself and something that we often take for granted just because it's just part of our weekly daily routine is eating and cooking and all of that. So that was something that kind of changed my perspective throughout this process. The cool thing is, well, I guess it's cool. I lost, what was I at? I think I lost 7 pounds. I forget the exact weight I had this morning on the scale, but I think I lost 7 pounds. I weighed myself before on the very first day, Monday morning, and then this morning it came out 7 pounds, just about there, which is cool. I'm kind of like starting the cut for the summer to get shredded again. So that kind of like boosted it, got me on a head start. We'll see where the weight ends up being after today and into tomorrow and the weekend when my body starts to like regain its strength and eating food again. We'll see how much of that weight loss actually stays lost if it wasn't just like water weight and things like that. But that was cool. Before and after pictures really didn't look too different. Felt a little leaner, obviously, but it probably would be more dramatic for people who, struggle with weight issues or, have some battles in that area. So maybe it would be more beneficial for you if you're really trying to lose weight. And I guarantee you it would be very hard to not eat food for 3 days. So maybe just do bone broth throughout each day, something like that. I think would be a challenge and a good starting point rather than just water. But yeah, would I do it again? I will probably do it again. I like challenging myself. I like pushing myself outside my comfort zone and just kind of seeing the results. That was also a little bit about why I did this, just to see what it's like and to challenge myself, to push myself to new limits and see if I could actually do this and be able to speak on it and testify to it. If it's good, if it's not. Did it work? Did it not? You never know unless you try those things. And I find more success, joy, doing things that push my physical boundaries a lot. I think that's just kind of the athlete in me. So, would I recommend anybody else do it if you're trying to lose weight? Yes, I think it's not an easy way, but it is kind of a hack to lose a bunch of weight pretty quickly. And if you're trying to grow spiritually, 100% recommend fasting in any capacity, whether that's food, whether that's a meal, whether that's social media, entertainment. Give up something to get closer to God for a period of time. That I highly recommend. And if you're doing a water fast, just make sure you're prepared. Make sure you have the proper things set up in place, like the water, the electrolytes, the vitamins, so that way you're not depleting your body completely and you don't get sick and things like that. But it was fun. It was enjoyable. Not doing it anytime again soon. Really thankful I got food and just an interesting experience that I now can speak on. So that kind of concludes this week's episode. Pretty short, pretty quick. Just wanted to speak on that. And if anybody wants more advice on doing a water fast, you have somebody in your corner that can speak on it. So like I said, more episodes are coming. They're on their way. Got a little busy with life over the past couple of weeks. All good news. If you know, you know, but there'll be more on the horizon. So be ready for a couple more episodes here in the next couple of weeks coming up. And we hope to see you then.